Hey all comers, my name is Charlie Tamawi and I'm back again! Yay! Okay, this time I'm doing a video on how to make a song. So for all you guys who want to start doing your own thing, listen up, because I'll have a 5-step plan to get you to being an expert songwriter. Now, before I start saying how to make a song, just saying that this isn't like a strict formula. Songwriting can be done in many different ways and for lots and lots of different reasons. So if it's just to get your emotions down on a page, for self-expression, to convey like a topic or something like that you're really passionate about. So it's done for a lot of reasons, and it's not like you have to do this one way. So let's get started. 5 steps. Step 1. Step 1 is your starting point. I usually, for me personally, I'll usually have a chord progression of sorts, or something like that, which I'm like, this is kind of groovy, I like to groove to this. Example. But don't be worried about it sounding not quite right, or what am I supposed to be saying here? The thing is with chord progressions is that basically every chord progression has already been made. If you've ever seen the Axis of Awesome 4-chord song, they kind of demonstrate it there that everybody uses, there's only like a set amount of chords and a set amount of patterns you can do it in. So it's probably been done before, but the important thing to remember is that you don't have to sound like someone, and you don't have to worry about sounding like someone. It's all going to be different because these chords have never been used by you before. So it's all about who it's done by, so then that's how it is different. But for these purposes, it doesn't matter. Okay, step 1 is done. Now we're up to step 2. That sounded really... Now we're up to step 2! Okay, step 2... Wow, that was what I was gonna say. Step 2 is about getting some tunes down, or just humming melodies, or anything like that, anything that you appreciate. You see, step 1 and step 2 are a little bit interchangeable, because sometimes you get a tune before you get the chord progression, or sometimes you get the chord progression before you get the tune. It doesn't really matter at that point. At that point it's all about just getting it down, getting the melody and getting the chord progression and melding them together like a fusion. And honestly, it's okay if you're not really happy with what the tune sounds like to start with, as long as you start getting it down. Exemplaire! I have this thing called a chorus storage, where I will have a whole bunch of recordings that I've done of just melodies and chord progressions or anything that I really want to remember, and I'll record them and I'll leave them for months and months on end. And sometimes I'll come back to them and think, hey, that's cool, or I'll just look back at them and go, I have no idea what I was going to do with that. But either way, it's really good to get them down and save them. So this part, it might take a little while, but that's okay. Step 3, lyrics. Now this point is actually an optional point. You can write instrumental stuff as well, which can be just as powerful. When I was about 10, I went to see a John Williams symphony concert thing, and from that point on I wanted to be a film score composer. There was nothing else I wanted to do. Enough with the rambling. So at this point it's okay to say, you know what, I just want to go instrumental. I think this sounds pretty as an instrumental. Or you can say, you know what, I want lyrics because I want to be able to fully convey what I want to get down. Now usually with lyrics, I write down a lot of stuff on my phone. So I'll write down, I write down a lot of stuff on my phone for lyrics, particularly if it's like a poem I've written or if it's anything else. Example, I'll read out something I wrote a little while ago, which was inspired by a conversation I had with my sister recently. We are delicate beings. It takes care to keep our fragile lights flickering. When we step without caution, we risk falling and reveal our faults, our true thoughts. Stop to avoid us steeped in the chaos. Our lives on a conveyor belt, we move on, conveying our resolve to run, run, run. It can be as metaphorical as you want, as long as it means something to you. A lot of this process is specifically just very personal and very for yourself. It's up to you whether you want to share it with the world. And that's where lyrics can definitely come it can definitely become very personalized if you want. Step 4, structure. Now, up until now I've been saying, oh yeah, it's all pretty fluid, it's all pretty okay, it's really up to you, which it is, but if you want to have a bit more body to it, you have to give your song structure. If you want to make it sound a little bit more like sort of the mainstream music you're hearing at the moment, you'll want to have a verse, a chorus, and a bridge. If you're wondering what the hell those are, a chorus is the repeated thing you hear throughout the whole song. You've probably heard of the term chorus before. A verse are the little bits in between the chorus, basically. They usually sound sort of similar, but they will have some lyrical differences and some melodic differences. The chorus will be exactly the same. Now the bridge is the part that's not like the verse, it's not like the chorus, it's its own sort of thing. And you'll usually find this near the end of the song, and it'll have different chord progression, different melody, and different lyrics. And you can also have a coda, which is like at the very end of a song, and it may be chanting something, you may be singing a little bit of a verse area. It's all up to you what you want to finish off with. The structure is also really important because usually when you do start off with the song, you start off with like a bit of a small section. For example, here is my chorus storage, which I think I mentioned earlier in the video. This is one of the songs that I have in storage at the moment. What is this hope? What is this melancholic drive that's causing me to sigh? And after all the years of disappointments, crushing crushes, moving down the ranks from a friend to an acquaintance, still I smile, 'cause maybe it's brighter on the other side. And I'll have something like that. You noticed I probably am going to add in harmonies to that, which also give the song a bit of body. You can add that to some of the tunes and melodies that you've just made up. Structure is really important because it makes your song catchy, it makes it so that everybody can kind of sing it and get along to it. It also makes it that you know what you're doing with the song. But you don't have to follow a strict structure, it is up to you. With instrumental writing, it's a little different. You're going to want like some repeatable melodies, as you'll probably see in film score and stuff like that. You're going to want a lot more melodic differences within an instrumental piece. And you want to have it more subtle where you hear repetitions. The 5th step is editing. Now editing is extremely important because it's what makes your song more refined and it's what makes it the best it can be. Now I know it can kind of be hard to edit a song because it's like you've just made this child and you've got to cut the child's limbs. That was a bit of a depressing image. It's like you've got to cut the child's hair. There we go. It's got like really long hair that's kind of like dragging across the floor. It's all tangled, it's all messy, and it's annoying the hell out of the child. So once you've cut the child's hair into a really cool new style, it's going to like the haircut even more, it's probably going to look even cooler, and they're probably going to feel better about it. What an analogy that was. Editing a song can mean cutting it down, it can mean taking verses out, it can mean adding verses in, since a lot of amateur songwriters face the trouble of actually making a song long enough. A lot of them struggle to add more content in it. Help I can do with that is that you get your main idea and you extend it. You extend it as much as you can, go to a lot of different places. Extend it melodically, think, okay, let's go up to that octave instead and let's do something with that. Let's add in harmonies, let's do all this stuff. Let's make it more complex. You can also do this lyrically, you can brainstorm as like write type. Think of as much to do with the topic that you're talking about and get it down and then try and organize your thoughts from there. Most of the time, especially with songs that I write, you have to take stuff out. You have to cut it, you have to trim it, you have to see what's the most important parts of it and you have to add that in. Editing can also mean rearranging some of the things. It can mean rearranging melodies, it can mean rearranging harmonies, where you want to add in harmonies, where you don't want harmonies, and it can be like rephrasing certain lyrics as well. For example, in a song that I wrote called Broken Homes, which is about asylum seekers coming to Australia, there's this one part where I used the word hug. I played it to somebody, which is another important part of editing. play your music to someone, and if you don't feel comfortable with that, just hear it back yourself. Record it and listen to yourself. Getting off track. But I played it to someone and they said, the word hug doesn't sound quite right. You could use something else. Because a hug has a lot of connotations. Now, the word connotations is basically, what do you associate with the word hug? The word hug is kind of warm, it's fuzzy, it's a little casual, and it wasn't the right word for the topic we were talking about. So I used the phrase instead, tears fall down her face, so he takes her in his embrace. Now, embrace is a lot more of it has a lot more serious connotations to it. It's a lot more, like, encompassing, like, you are welcome here, in a sense. So rephrasing words, rearranging certain melodies, rearranging certain harmonies, rearranging chords even, making, say, like this chord, hey, how about we make it a major instead of a minor, and that's going to make it sound even more epic. For example, I could have made that just like I could have made it back to the minor. Anyway, that's cool. But I wanted to make it sound a bit more of an epic scale, because I had gone to the octave. I'm not like stretching my hand into oblivion for nothing. So instead, I made the last chord a major instead, to make it sound cooler. Grand, and you can imagine that with an orchestra, finishing off on the major triumphant chord and whatever. So editing is an extremely important step for making your song clearer, for making it cooler, and for making it stand out that much more, and for getting straight to the point, straight to what you want. Even you may have like tons and tons of metaphors in there, you may be spurting gibberish, I'm frothing at the mouth, but it actually gets quicker to what you want to say. You only do the editing though once you feel like you've finished your song, because then you're like, I haven't finished my song. Once you think you've finished your song, you haven't finished your song, you go back through it and you edit it all. You edit the entire thing. You play through it heaps and heaps of times, think, I could change this around or I could change that around. And then, ta-da! You're done! You're finished! You got a song! Congratulations, you! Woohoo! So congratulations! Now it's up to you what you want to do with your song. You can go busking with it. I know that I go busking with a lot of my songs because I like to get them out there, and people appreciate hearing new stuff. You can burp, and you know, burping's a good sign. Put it on SoundCloud, you can put it up on YouTube, just generally on the internet somewhere. You can share it with your family, you can keep it to yourself. And that's actually fine. It is fine to keep songs to yourself. It can just be a part of that emotional journey that you've gone through. It's helping you express what you need to express and get down what you need to get down to sort out in your head how you are feeling, what you are feeling, and why you're feeling it. So anybody who is having trouble, anybody who doesn't feel like they have anywhere to turn to, try writing a song, try writing a poem, try painting something. Any sort of art is a great form of self-expression, and it's a great way to just get down your feelings and release them out somewhere. Because sometimes people don't have the luxury of that. They don't have anywhere to turn to for that. And that's kind of sad. But I don't want to end this song on I don't want to end this song because this actually whole video has been a song. Oh my god. La 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 la. La la la. Fooled you all. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure that if you do like it, if you appreciate it, share it wherever you want. Give it a thumbs up. If you appreciated the help that I've given you, please give it a thumbs up and comment below saying, hey, that was helpful, Hannah, or thanks, Charlie. Oh, no, my name's not Hannah, my name's Charlie. Shh. Charlie. Subscribe if you want to hear more stuff. Hopefully, I'm going to be doing and making more videos throughout the next couple of weeks because I've got school holidays. Woohoo! Thank you guys for watching. CT out! Oh, still sounds so corny. Oh yes! And Merry Christmas! Forgot to say. Merry Christmas to everybody, all of you lovely people. Mwah.